By the end of this video, you will be able to understand some common terminologies related to web development such as internet, IP address, etc. Understand what a web server is and its role. Understand how a browser and a web server communicate with each other. So far, we have been talking about websites and how communication between a server and client occurs. But can you guess what makes us access the websites? If you have guessed the answer as the internet, then you are absolutely right. But before we jump to understand what the internet is, let us first understand another associated term that seems to be the same and in day to day life we use interchangeably with the internet, and the term is network. Network, in simplest terms, means an interconnection of computers. Computers that are part of the same network, if they want, can communicate with each other. Networks can be of any size, ranging from 2 computers to any number of computers. You can have a home network to which all computers at your home are connected. Similarly, you can have a medium sized network covering your entire college campus to which all the computers on the campus are connected. And then we have a network which is spread globally and it's called the internet. The internet is a global network to which all the computers in the world are or can be connected. So, what happens when a computer is connected to any network? Well, whenever a computer is connected to a network, it receives a unique IP address. An IP address looks something like this, where 4 numbers ranging from 0 to 255 are combined with dots. This IP address is used to uniquely identify a computer over the network. Please note that in this training we won't be covering IP in detail as it is beyond the scope of this training, but we will learn how to find the IP address of our system in the next topic. Now that you know what the internet is, let us again have a look at how a website on the internet works. Suppose you want to open the website internshala.com on your browser. For that, as you had already guessed, you will ensure that your computer is connected to the internet so that it can communicate with other computers across the world. Now, somewhere over the internet, there must be another computer that is responsible to serve you with the website you want to open. And the computer that serves you by opening the website you requested is known as the host. Please note that for every website on the internet that exists, there must exist one such computer that is responsible to host the website. Now, you might ask a question, how are these computers able to host websites? This is because these computers have servers running on them. Now, what is a web server, you may ask? Well, a web server is nothing but a software that enables a computer to host a website. We will study more about web servers and how to install and use later in this module. A web server is also an example of a client-server pair. Here, the browser acts as the client and the web server acts as the server. And the communication between them happens similar to the 2 examples that we saw in the previous video. Here are the steps of the client-server communication. Let us now understand how the communication between a browser and web server occurs. We have learned earlier that whenever a browser feels the need for a service, for example, to open internshala.com and explore some relevant internships, it finds the relevant server and fetches the desired website. Now, the important question is, how does this happen? The browser doesn't know which computer in the world is hosting the website we want. So, to help our browser find the computer that is hosting the website which we are looking for, there are some other special computers provided by our internet providers, such as Airtel, Jio, etc., that run a software known as the DNS or Domain Name Server. This DNS maintains a table that maps all the website names on the internet to the IP address of their corresponding computers. In technical terms, the website name is also referred to as a domain name. So, don't get confused as these terms are often used interchangeably. The browser then fetches the IP address corresponding to the website from this DNS server. This process is known as a DNS lookup. Now, once our browser has the IP address, it can then uniquely address or locate the host computer over the internet. And once the browser finds the relevant computer, it connects to the web server running on it so that they can communicate with each other. The browser then sends a request to the server mentioning which web page it wants, which in this case is the home page of the website. The web server then acts on the request and finds the web page on its computer. Once the web server finds the web page, it sends the web page back to the browser as a response. One more thing, that is, the request and the response between the browser and the web server have special names. They're called the HTTP request and the HTTP response respectively. So basically what happens is that when we get the response, it is in the form of HTML code. The browser renders this HTML code, which means that it converts the code into a visual format that enables us to view these websites. So if you ever want to view the HTML code of any website, go to the website whose HTML code you want to view, right-click anywhere on the website and select View Page Source. This will open the HTML code in a new tab like this. And this is how you can view the HTML code of a website. With this, we have come to the end of this video. Up next is a quiz. The purpose of the quiz is to help you practice and solidify the concepts you have learned. So after taking the quiz, if you feel you need a little brush up, you may revisit the videos to revise the concepts. All the best.